Hello, Internet! It's another edition of Jared Stumbles Through, and today, we're going back to the past, to the Sega CD. And you may remember about a year and a half ago, we played through Police Knots, the Hideo Kojima adventure game. Well, we're going to go back a little bit further in the pantheon of his catalog of games. And we're going to play some Snatcher on the Sega CD. So this version is obviously probably the most well-known in terms of, like, for English-speaking audiences, just because this is the version that came out in the United States and in European regions as basically the only version of this game that came out in any of those regions. And it's also localized, so that's pretty cool. Just remember, this is a fictional game. Also, just listen to this music, like, holy shit. This game's like, upfront, it's like, alright, our soundtrack's just gonna go hard immediately. Also, remember, this story is dedicated to all those cyberpunks who fight against injustice and corruption every day of their lives.
June 6th, 1996. A mysterious explosion destroys the Chernobyl research facility near Moscow. Lucifer Alpha, a powerful biological weapon under secret development there, is released into the atmosphere, creating a deadly biohazard. Carried by the trade winds, Lucifer Alpha spreads throughout Eastern Europe and Eurasia, destroying 80% of the populace. Half of the world's people die. The greatest biohazard in history later becomes known simply as the catastrophe. But at this time, who could have possibly imagined that the ultimate biohazard wouldn't occur for another half-century? 50 years later, mankind faces its greatest crisis: the appearance of a mysterious android life form. Its purpose and origin are unknown. Is it a new form of weapon? Or perhaps an invasion from some other world? They appear during winter, killing humans and infiltrating society by taking the place of their victims. Employing an artificial skin, they can sweat and even bleed. Part organic, part machine, they're almost impossible to distinguish from those they kill. As they steal their victims' bodies in order to take their place, these mysterious invaders become known as Snatchers.
Not Terminators. Fade to white. Into title screen. Also, like, I know this isn't as impressive as, you know, it would have been back in 93, 94 when this came out, but this game talks to you, like, games back then didn't do that. At least to, like, this high fidelity of audio. Like, back then this was insane. Nowadays it's like, that's, you know, that's just commonplace, but CD technology, guys. Also, Neo Kobe City is a fucking great name for a futuristic Japanese city. And of course, it wouldn't be a Kojima game if there wasn't like a long sprawl of opening credits before you got to like real gameplay or anything. Metal Gear. I mean, at the time of this recording, and obviously when this goes up, like we're past the Kojima Konami kerfuffle, where now Kojima's signed with kind of Sony, but like they're gonna put out his first game on consoles exclusively, and he's just remade Kojima Productions and doing his own thing. But man, I really hope like the first game that comes out of that team is something in the vein of either this or Police Knots, and it's just like, it's not another Metal Gear game essentially. As much as I like those games, like I really hope it's something different. Or maybe just make another Boktai game. There you go. I guess you couldn't, because that'd be probably another Konami property that's just, you know, in turmoil now since Konami doesn't want to make games anymore. Also, you saw that the director isn't Kojima in this version. It was a different person who directed this port, but it's still the same game. But there's a few differences, obviously, with this version, since it's more for American audiences and European audiences. There's some censorship stuff in here, like they changed ages, and then they censored out like a breast or something like that as well. And then some of the violent scenes in this are a little bit tweaked, but it's the early 90s. You kind of had to expect something like that. Like,
how was work? Everything okay?
Gillian, what is it? What's wrong?
Jamie, I've become a junker.
A junker? Gillian, but why?
Jamie, you know why. It's the only way we can regain our lost memories. Snatcher is the only word that keeps coming back every time we try to remember our past. I have to face them to find out why.
Yes, but I can sense that there is something terrible hidden in our past. And if we remember it, it will destroy us.
Jamie! I'm going now. Jamie!
What? I can't hear you!
look at that futuristic car! Goodbye.
Gillian Seed, estimated age 31. 3 years ago, he and his wife Jamie Seed are taken into protective custody in the Siberian Neutral Zone by the 17th Siberian Investigative Force. Both Gillian and Jamie suffer from severe amnesia. Their memories of events prior to being picked up in Siberia lost in a mysterious mental fog. 2 years ago, after a vain attempt to rebuild their marriage, Jamie and Gillian separate. Following extensive special military training, Gillian is ordered to report to Neo-Kobe City as a junker, effective today.
What if they're snatchers? Oh yes, the Sony building. And the Sega building. So you might think, like, why is there Sony wording in here? I mean, Sony did work with Sega in some facets with the Sega CD, at least, like, making games for it after, you know, their deal with Nintendo fell through. Welcome to Junker headquarters. May I help you? Which button did I choose as... Oh, okay. Do we want to enter, look, or investigate? Let's investigate. The operator. It's no use. She's protected by a shield. That poster looks like a government ad. They must be really short on people. Front pod. The shield is heatproof and shockproof, specially designed to withstand an attack from snatchers. Some pretty heavy-duty stuff that they've got here. This place may be more dangerous than I thought. Looks like they're monitoring the offices. It's locked. Looks like the only switch for it is in the operator's pod. There's nobody around but the operator. Let's look. She's a beautiful Oriental woman. Thanks. I'm afraid only Junker personnel are allowed inside headquarters. I'm sorry. May I have your name, please?
I'm
Now we
Gillian
can talk.
Seed. I've been assigned to Junker headquarters effective today.
Oh, you're Mr. Seed. Please forgive me. My name is Mika Slayton. I'm the administrative assistant and operator here at Junker headquarters. Very pleased to meet you.
Also, of course, no subtitles, because... yeah, you wouldn't really expect that from one of these types of games, unfortunately. Let's ask her about Junkers. Could you tell me a little about Junker operations? The Junkers are a special task force put together to combat the Bioroid Snatcher menace. It's overseen by government intelligence agencies. What about Neo Kobe? This is my first time in town. Oh, you'll get used to it right away. Everybody's pretty welcome. There are many different ethnic groups and types of people here. It's Japan, but it's not Japan, if you know what I mean. Tell me a little bit about yourself. About me? Isn't that a bit forward, Mr. Seed? Let me tell you about myself first. Maybe then you'll tell me. I can tell you're very smooth with the ladies. It's a Kojima game. I've been assigned to Junker operations effective today. You just told me that, Gillian.
Mr.
Okay.
Seed?
Can I enter?
Gillian's fine, and you can call me Gillian, Mika.
Okay, Gillian. I'll open the main door and show you around headquarters.
Let's go to headquarters. Where shall I show you first? Let's just go to Chief's office.
Chief Cunningham,
I think this is the only place you can
Gillian
go.
Seed is here. I brought him in as you requested.
Thanks for coming, Seed. I'm Benson Cunningham, the Chief of Junker Operations.
Gillian Seed, I've been transferred here from the 17th Special Forces Division.
I've heard all about your special training in the military, Seed. I hope you'll put it to good use on your new assignment here. By the way, I understand you're suffering from amnesia. Any sign yet that your memory's coming back?
I'm afraid not. I still can't remember a thing from before the Army picked me up 3 years ago.
You're married, aren't you?
Yes, but we're separated now. She has amnesia as well, and without any memories between the two of us, I'm afraid there was very little to base a good relationship on.
I can see your point there.
Also, you kind of have to expect that, like, the voice acting in this game, it's not going to be great. Though, man, I really wish I had, like, the light gun. Because you can play this game with a light gun. Like, that's crazy. Junker headquarters was set up a year ago by the police as a special task force to combat the Snatcher problem. Junker operations were officially started in August of this year. We answered directly to the government's intelligence agencies. This poster is really pretty tacky. Oh, really? That's my design, by the way. Chief, your taste is right out of the Dark Ages. Poor Chief. The Junker operates with certain rules and privileges different from regular police officers. Those are: 1. The purpose of the Junker force is to eliminate Bioroid Snatchers. 2. A Junker, even in the course of carrying out one, must not harm innocent civilians. 3. A subject may not be physically investigated or restrained unless irrefutable evidence exists that indicates the subject is indeed a Snatcher. I just realized that this is gonna, like, the audio is gonna be a bit out of sync, like my microphone audio and all that stuff, because I didn't switch it over from game capture. Let me see if I can do that real quick. I doubt it. It'll probably just be like, hey, you need to, for this to apply, it'll have to be restart stream. I don't know. Maybe that effect that did something. Who knows? We'll just go with that. But if it's still wonky, it's gonna be like a second and a half off, basically, from what it normally should have been. Apologies for that. Regardless, number 4, a Junker is required to assist and support civilian bounty hunters. Number 5, in order to carry out one, a Junker is allowed to use the use of a blaster, a navigator, and a turbo cycle. Cool. Those are the 5 rules. A Junker's job is to figure out who the Snatchers are and to eliminate them. I want you to put your special training in the military to good use and investigate those points about Snatchers that we don't yet understand. We've got to put a stop to them.